Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Are you on track to meet your goals this year? Now, let me just ask you a blunt question. Are you doing everything you ought to be doing in order for you to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable? And I'm saying this with utmost love and respect, just simply looking at the calendar today. This is, I'm recording this towards the end of June of 2022. So depending on when you're going to be listening to this, and it's obviously going to be in the future, you probably had high hopes starting off the year. You probably wanted to achieve a whole lot more, just predicated on what the last couple of years had brought to us. And there you are. We are halfway through the year, and you probably haven't even scrapped the surface as to where you want to be or to achieve any of the goals that you wanted to achieve. And let me tell you something, it's not your fault. The last couple of years have not been the easiest. And let's just say the last century has just not been the easiest. I was reading somewhere, I'm an avid reader, by the way, and that's something you should ought to be doing in order to weather all these storms that are coming or heading our way. So it says in 1966, Time magazine, for those that know, Time magazine is one of the longest standing publications, in America and the world even. And Time magazine in 1966 predicted that by the year 2000, which is almost 22 years ago, wow, time is flying. So they predicted that by the year 2000, and that was in 1966. All right. So the machines will be producing so much that everyone in the United States will in effect be independently wealthy. And just to top it up, in that year too, Coco Chanel said about miniskirts that it's a bad joke that won't last. Not with the winter coming. So, in the year 2000, all right, a lot of things happened. YTK, Microsoft was predicted to crash, and a whole lot of things were meant to be happening. And, just looking at the people in 1966 being very optimistic about what was happening at that time, maybe 34 years later, they were actually anticipating that everybody in the U.S. will be independently wealthy. But if you look at what happened in 2020, just the events themselves, in Australia here, we had the bushfires, and Prince Harry and Meghan Markle quit the royal family. And we had the C-19 pandemic, and then we also lost, Kobe Bryant, who instigated Mamba mentality, and, we had Donald Trump being impeached as president, something that had not happened in a very long time. So much can happen in a very short space of time. And why I'm just saying this is, just look at where you are right now. And if you had high hopes of having created a business that's profitable and enjoyable by now, just don't hold yourself hostage or be hard on yourself, because so much is happening that is designed to just take us down somehow and really test us if we really want to be on this journey or not. So I'm gonna be outlining a few things that you could do just if you think you haven't actually achieved the results that you want in your business, so that when you start on in the next month, depending on when you are listening to this podcast and what is actually going on in your life right now, I want you to restart, recharge, and revive your marketing. So if you remember, when I asked you, when I started the podcast, I asked you, are you on track to meet your goals this year? I want you to forget just about everything else if you're not, or double down on everything you're doing if you are, okay? Because you might be reading this, maybe it's a Sunday. I mean, you might be listening to this, maybe it's a Sunday, or you might be wondering why I actually chose to talk about this, especially today, because I was also looking at where I've been and what is actually happening within my business. And it's quite, humbling how I thought I will be at a certain position within my business, but we are still got a lot of work to do, just simply based on the fact that what I was basing the results on is completely different to what I have right now. I'll tell you why. First of all, at the beginning of the year in 2022, I lost, control of my Facebook account. I got hacked. And I was given 30 days to prove my identity and everything else. By the time I was trying to do that, the 30 days lapsed and I actually lost access to my Facebook account. That sort of took me by surprise, and it actually started getting me to start thinking about how do I actually reach out to my audience. And I started doubling down on the podcast. I started doubling down on creating videos on YouTube, because that was now the next frontier and the next outlet that I was going to use to reach out to my audience. So if my plans and my goals were predicated on me using Facebook as a channel to generate leads, look at what happened. I lost access to that channel. And then 3 months later, and I obviously know that these channels, communicate. I was using the same email address that got hacked, and I just started seeing, LinkedIn was sort of starting to look at me in a weird way. You know how it is when you just rock up to a room and then somebody just gives you a greasy and you don't understand what it is. It's just because maybe your email address or whatever, your profile is now blacklisted amongst all the social media platforms, right? And yeah, LinkedIn did the same with me. They wanted me to prove my identity, and I did that, and it was just a whole lot of back and forth with them, and I was getting a lot of restrictions up until I actually lost access to my LinkedIn account as well. So as it stands right now, I'm flying without Facebook for my personal profile, and I'm flying without LinkedIn. And I'm still surviving. So some of these things might happen in your life. Some of these things might actually, come to you, and you might feel like you're being dealt a heavy hand, but that's not it. It's just the times we're living in right now. And it hasn't been me. There has been a few people that have, come to me and have also mentioned how they've lost, their profiles, which then begs for me to then, start really warning people to say, you know what? You can't keep building your profiles. You can't keep building your credibility on other people's profiles. You really need to double down on your own website. You really need to double down on platforms that you can control, okay? Because at any given moment, the rag might actually be yanked from under your feet and you wouldn't even know where to get started from, all right? So we had to actually change course and change strategy. And I promised my team that we were going to go through this, and I was actually going to step up and use the podcast as a way to generate leads, and use our blog, and also use other channels like email marketing to actually, control the inflow of inbound leads, which doesn't really depend on social media. I'm not saying that we're not fully on social media. We do have our presence on the company profiles. They're still there on social media, on LinkedIn and on Facebook, respectively, but we're no longer actively using them as channels to actually get leads. And that's the reason why my podcast is really jam-packed with all these pieces of information, just so that we now have a body of work that people can actually depend on. So you might be out there cold calling your potential clients and having them hang up in your face, or you're sending out hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, and wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without generating any qualified leads. And sometimes it actually feels like no one wants to buy what you're selling. And when you rely on your business to pay rent and put food on your table, man, that will put an enormous strain on your emotions, and you get terrified of having to maybe give up on your dreams and return to a 9 to 5 with your tail tucked between your legs if you can't bring in clients. So today we're just going to be talking about maybe a few aspects that you should do in order for you to maybe restart, recharge, and revive your marketing in the event that either you've lost access to your Facebook, or your marketing has actually started to lose its luster and you are not getting the results that you want. So you know what? Like I'm saying this today, it was also because of a conversation that I actually had over the weekend. It's Monday today, by the way, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, with a close friend who actually also owns a business. All right. So the conversation started with her sort of frustrated, just realizing that, wait a minute, the year is nearly half over. You know what I mean? And I had spoken with her towards the end of last year, and we're just sort of catching up. And I was like, how was the last couple of years? And what did you do? Because a lot of things have been happening, especially to Australian business people. I mentioned the fires, and we had the floods in the New South Wales, and now we are on the verge of getting into some sort of a recession. So I just touch base with a few people, just to see how they're going and to see if I can be of help to them, which is something that you should also do as a coach, consultant, or small to medium business. You know what I mean? Just touch base with people, even if you've worked with them before. They might be going through stuff, and just you remembering they exist will actually make a huge difference to them. And the reason why you want to do this is just so that you never know where that person is in life. They might actually be looking for the services and products that you're offering. And if you open up that channel, it makes it easy for them to then say, hey, by the way, I was actually looking for X, Y, and Z that you could actually help me. So like I was saying, we were having a conversation, and she was frustrated. You know what I mean? I hadn't spoken to her for almost a year. And she was pretty excited about her new marketing plan at that time, you know what I mean? So we couldn't work together. Now, I just thought I'd check in with them, and it's halfway, you know what I mean? And she was realizing that she never was going to meet any of her objectives, and she hadn't even implemented any of the stuff that she was excited about. She was actually embarrassed that, she could have just worked with me, and, all of this would have been actually accomplished. And she was pretty stressed out, and I took on the role of being her counselor, and I was like, hey, come on, let's hear what it is that you say. So I actually told her that she actually just needed to restart her plan, and if she was going and whatever she was doing, if it wasn't working, she didn't have to wait until the end of the year to create a new path. Because you know what? A lot of people wait until the end of the year for them to utilize their New Year resolutions as a checklist of things that they have to do. You don't have to wait until the end of the year. You don't have to wait until the end of a quarter or whatever it is. Stop flogging a dead horse. If you notice that your marketing strategy is not working, try not to keep adding money to it just so that because you took a long time trying to create it. Okay, it's a sunk cost. Go with what actually works, or find help. And this will be an opportunity for you to reach out to people like Live Long Digital, where we will definitely help you generate hundreds of qualified leads without you having to resort to maybe cold emailing or cold calling, and nobody's actually wanting to buy from you. So it's not just her. And I think we all fall into that trap. You know what I mean? We start the year with great new intentions, and then life stuff and things that are inevitable. I was I was looking at all the things that happened in the last 2 years, like the fires, and how Donald Trump got impeached, and how Harry and Meghan Michael quit the royalty and everything else. You know what I mean? When we start the year, we're full of intentions, we're full of life, and we've got great ideas, and we just want to implement. And so that's what I just mentioned to her. So she asked me, so how do I restart now? I've put in all this money, I've hired all these people, you know what I mean? And then I was just like, no, do what you can with what you have, okay? At the end of the day, you don't want to keep playing with an idea of the week. Just go and create and execute a new plan based on the circumstances that we now have, and whatever predictions you might have, given what you know now about, the situation, lockdowns, pandemics, and all those things that have been affecting us, that haven't affected us in the last, say, 20 years or so, okay? And I think we tend to overcomplicate a lot of this stuff, and we tend to be very hard on ourselves, just simply because we don't want to appear as if we're reneging on decisions that we've made, or we are falling back on ideas that we had, told or promised our teams or promised our accountants and things of that nature. You know what I mean? You know what the biggest problem is, especially for coaches, consultants, and small to medium businesses? Because marketing is just one aspect of running a successful business. All right, you're going from hiring and managing new staff and balancing books and driving the growth of your business and a whole lot more. And it all feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled from multiple different directions all at once. And at the end of the day, all you just really need, your real goal, is to help your clients. You know what I mean? You want to help them with your consulting, your training, your information, expertise, paid speaking gigs, and all that stuff. And you don't want to spend as much time as possible changing, your website or tinkering with your social media. You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. You don't want to waste countless hours each week maybe trying to navigate your new algorithms or the complex world of online marketing. You know what I mean? You definitely certainly don't want to spend yet another minute on the phone having to beg people to hire your services. And I can imagine, once you set a marketing strategy, most people think it's a set and forget phenomenon. Whereas you actually need to be, course correcting and readjusting so that you're actually meeting your goals. And then that's when a lot of people get frustrated. You know why? Because they hire people to just then implement without even actually checking whether the analytics are actually working or if they're actually reaching their goals. So I told her, stop looking at your past, idea or past, goals. Just go and create and execute a new plan. Things have changed. The customer of today has changed. A lot of people are now, reaching their mobile phones, in the morning. So you want to make sure that your marketing is mobile first. You know what I mean? How many of your collaterals or properties on the internet are actually mobile first? You know what I mean? Small things like that a lot of people might have overlooked, back in the time when people would show up at your office and want to have, a face-to-face conversation. All right, so she got excited. And she thanked me for giving her some renewed hope. I mean, obviously, we all need this. And I'm so happy that you, as an Internet Explorer, that's our name, by the way. If you're listening to the Online Prosperity Experience, we're called Internet Explorer. So my Internet Explorer friend, I'm urging you to actually really look at where you are right now and what it is that you're doing, and keep what's working and what's not working. Ditch it, okay? So shortly after that conversation with my friend, I also got an idea, and I'm guessing there's countless business owners out there with the very same feeling. How am I going to make this year different? All right, I just explained to you all the hardships that people have had to go through, especially in the last couple of years. We had the COVID-19 pandemic, we had the floods in Australia, we had the bushfires, and, in America, you had the change of guard in the UK, Harry and Meghan Markle quit royalty. I don't know what else, you guys are going through there. And, world over right now, we're sort of going to be entering into a recession. There's been the Ukraine war and all that stuff that has just been taking people's attention. You know what I mean? And you might be asking yourself, we are halfway through the year right now. How am I going to make a difference in my year? So here's my idea. In the next sort of 5 days, I'm going to be putting out podcasts that actually explain some, details on how to attack, life, especially with what we have right now, from identifying your target audience, clarifying your message, determining the media that you're going to reach out to them, then, creating that lead capturing funnel and, a nurturing system, and then, putting those people into some sort of sales conversion strategy so that they pay, stay, and refer. And then pretty much after that, we're helping you deliver a world-class experience, and increase customer value, and also have a sales conversion strategy, which means that you are going to be rinsing and repeating every single one of the things that you're doing currently. Okay. And why not just reach out, to Live Long Digital, so that we can actually help you make this year the best year yet. It doesn't matter what year it is right now. It doesn't matter what it is that you're going through right now. You could always restart. You could always recharge. You could always revive your marketing so that you can have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And especially if you vouch to become an internet explorer, I urge you to subscribe to this podcast so together we can restart, recharge, revive your marketing right now instead of waiting until yet another year rolls around. Are you in? All right. So if so, just make it a point to, come back here every single day, because I release an episode of the Online Prosperity Experience every single day. You can check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on Spotify. You can check us out, pretty much on any listenable platform. There we will be helping you figure out how to actually generate enough leads for you to never go through feast or famine. And I will actually walk you through what's called online prosperity methodology, where I will help you sustainably scale your business from 6 figures to 7 figures and beyond, so you can actually establish yourself as a trusted leader within your industry. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, this is a whole sales pitch. I've never sold anything in my podcast. I'm just really laying it down for you so that you can actually have an idea what you need to do in order for you not to have a repeat of the last couple of years. All right, because once you start working in a space where you've identified your target market, all right, you're reaching out to people that absolutely love you. You understand their pain. You understand the payoff that they're looking for. And you are going to present them with the product that they will absolutely adore. That way, they would, you start creating diverse recurring revenue streams that skyrocket your profitability and ensure that your business actually remains 100% bulletproof. Even during market downturns, even during global pandemics, and even during a sweeping lockdown. Okay, my business survived throughout the great 2020-2021 lockdown, where in Melbourne we were actually locked down for about 280 or so days, almost 1 year, without having to get further than 10 kilometers from where I live. All right, and pretty much once you are in a position to create a sales conversion strategy within your business, you'll be able to generate hundreds of qualified high-ticket leads like clockwork, so you never have to rely on cold calling or emailing just to beg clients to hire you. Like I told you at the beginning of the podcast, I lost my Facebook, I lost my LinkedIn, which is where somebody will be like, oh my God, my business has actually died. And I noticed that, okay, so places like Facebook and LinkedIn are just easy lead generation platforms, okay? But there are other ways. You can literally, like how I do with this podcast. This podcast comes out every single day, but I use it as fodder for my email marketing. All right, you must have received this podcast from an email or an email notification that there's a new podcast, and then you're now listening to this maybe on Spotify, or you just stumbled upon my content on YouTube, and now you can't get enough of what we've got going on. All right, so there's so many ways that you can start generating leads. You just got to put in the work, and I can hold your hand to actually help you identify that target audience. And once you've done that, it's super easy for you to clarify your message. You know why? Because now you know how to engage that audience. You now know how to educate them and inspire them to want more, be more, and have more. I'll tell you something. A lot of people out there are just looking to belong. A lot of people are looking for connection. A lot of people are looking for peace of mind. A lot of people are looking for status and to be valued. Your content, your information can either entertain them, educate them, to bring them to that level. All right? And once you've gotten all of that in place, you will now develop super efficient management systems and effective account teams, so your marketing runs well, like a well-oiled machine from start to finish. That way, you no longer have to depend on, year-long goals, which are maybe going to be changed just because algorithms change, politics change, virtues in people on social media change. How many things have we had to respond to? Ukraine, abortion, now we've got the pride, and everything just keeps coming on us. So you want to make sure that whatever is happening in society does not affect how people purchase from you. Are you in? If so, I really want you to make a point to come back to the Online Prosperity Experience, my Internet Explorer, every single day, so that you can learn how to literally create for and relate to your audience despite the market downturns, despite the global pandemics, despite the sweeping lockdowns. All right, this is episode number 2 of season number 4. All right, we've come a long way, people, and each season has got 50 episodes. So if you haven't actually gotten around to knowing a little bit more about the information that we're putting out there, there's hours and hours and hours and hours of content that will definitely set you on the straight and narrow. I'm obviously always going to be reading and adding more content, so we will never run out of things to speak about as long as the internet is still open. No matter what, because some people might think, the basics, we are already past the basics. But let me tell you something. We need to definitely go out there and engage our audience and provide value, because we get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. All right? So, I'm still going to ask you the question that I asked you at the start. Are you on track to meet your goals this year? If not, this is the place to be. Okay, like my friend who was married to the idea that she still needed to, follow through with the goals that she had. Things have changed. Even Harry and Meghan have quit, the royal family. Can you imagine, things like that happening? It's unheard of. So much stuff is just happening. So in the next episodes, we're going to be talking about, how to maybe refocus your marketing message. Because if you clarify your message, it makes it a whole lot easier for people to understand who you are. It makes it a whole lot easier for people to seek you when you're no longer there. And it creates what's called permission marketing. The reason why you're going to need permission from people is because people only listen to marketing that speaks directly at them. So in order for you not to spray and pray with your marketing, we will need to create for and relate to the audience that we're going to be demanding money off of. And what is the overall goal of all this? You will now, my friend, my Internet Explorer, deliver outstanding results to your clients and win their loyalty for life. And customers will start singing your praises to their family, to their friends, to their colleagues, at barbecues, and even strangers on the bus. And I'm not kidding about this, because if you do well, a lot of people would want, to be a part of whatever it is that you're creating. Okay, so I can't wait, for you to have your best year yet. All right, so subscribe to this podcast, and in the next few episodes, we're going to be talking about clarifying your messaging, determining the media you need to reach out to those people, and a few things that you need to have on your website that actually make a difference to the customer of today. A whole lot of these things, will definitely then make your business profitable and enjoyable. And you know what? I believe there's still time to make this year your best year yet. And what a better time to get started than right now. I can't wait to dig in with you and make sure that you are creating a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au